So sort of to start, let's talk about an actual real life form of kind of weather control, cloud seeding. So cloud seeding, it's kind of been around since like the 1940s. Basic idea is that you sort of just like disperse shit into clouds, and then what you disperse up there gives like the water things to condense around, so it's more likely for it to rain.
Got it.
People have tried to use it a lot. It may or may not work. I think it's kind of BS, but it can't really be proven because, I mean, it's weather, so there's not exactly like a good control group here.
Didn't China do it for the Olympics one
year?
Yeah,
they definitely. So they did cloud seeding. I don't know if it actually did anything or not.
It rained, Ben, is what it did.
Well, yeah, but I mean that happens a lot anyway, so it's kind of hard to say definitively whether that caused it or not, which is kind of the problem with cloud seeding. But anyway, the important point is that there is actually a company in the United Kingdom that uses cloud seeding to guarantee that it will not rain on your wedding day.
What?
This costs approximately £100,000. Which is around $128,000.
That is a lot of money.
They do give a 100% guarantee. You get your money back if it does rain.
Oh, wow.
I mean, but I mean, like, it's probably not going to rain anyway. So I think it's probably a pretty safe bet for them.
I was going to say that's very expensive for something that's not scientifically proven.
Yeah. I mean, that's yeah. So basically, they do cloud seeding leading up to it to try to like get rid of the rain clouds before your wedding day is kind of the idea. Also hilariously on their website, so they have a blog post about it. At the bottom, there's a link to a page on their main website that says to go to it for more information. And on that page, there's like 3 sentences, and then a link to the blog post, which just says to go to for more information. So I actually literally did not initially notice that the blog post was the same one I'd already read until I got about a paragraph in. I was like, oh yeah, I already read this shit.
It's like that index card. It's like, you know how to keep an idiot busy. Want to know how to keep an idiot busy? Flip the card over.
Yeah, I basically
and it says it on both sides.
This British travel company punked me with that prank actually. So it's entirely possible, and I would say probable, that no one has actually purchased this service from this company. They're just sort of generally a like travel and like wedding planning company that also advertises the fact that they do cloud seeding to get rid of the rain for your wedding day.
Also, do they have like any proof that they did this?
I think so. There were a bunch of articles about it back when they first announced it, like shortly after, and at that point, no one had done it yet. That was back in 2015. They're still advertising it. I don't know if anyone's done it yet. I didn't like email them to find out because, I mean,
that seems like something where like you can order it and then they just like don't do anything, and if it doesn't rain, then they get a bunch of money, and if it does rain, then they give you your money back.
They say they have like a team of meteorologists and like pilots and shit, so I'm sure they would try to show it to you. I mean, I'm sure they do something. I'm sure they actually do cloud seeding. I just doubt it actually does anything. But importantly, this does give us the makings of a pretty lucrative business. Because you, unlike them, can 100% legitimately prove that you can actually control the weather.
So you can charge more than $100,000.
See, I think you actually can't. I think that your market is so small if you do that it's not worth it. I think you're trying to get an economic of scale situation here. So I don't
know, Ben. I'm thinking because there's only 365 days a year. There's got to be at least 365 loaded people with families getting married.
I don't know. That's a lot of money. People spend a lot on weddings, but that's a lot of money for I don't know. So sort of my plan, charge $10,000. In the grand scheme of weddings, that's not that much for a lot of weddings, which is fucking terrifying. But I mean, it's a pretty big wedding if you're splashing $10,000 on stuff. But like, weddings are very expensive. $10,000 to guarantee good weather is something people would actually do. I figure charge $10,000. Figure you get a couple weddings a week, $10,000 a piece. You're looking over a little over $1 million a year.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And I'm assuming you're going to be at the weddings. You're just going to get to go to a lot of weddings, which is pretty awesome. And if they're splashing $10,000 on weather control, they're probably going to be pretty fucking nice weddings. So like, that's a perk right there. You're just going to be flying around, going to nice weddings and controlling the weather. That sounds awesome, right?
That does sound pretty awesome.
Also, they have to be nice to you because if they're not nice to you...
Right, you make it rain. Not the cool way with the money, but like, you actually make it rain. So, but I think so. As cool as that is, much fun as that would be, I think you also have another very real, very possible source of income. And for this one, I'm gonna actually take a quick segue and tell a story that I think is one of the coolest stories like ever. So we're gonna talk about Doc Ellis. So Doc Ellis was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the 60s and 70s. And in 1970, they had a game in San Diego against the Padres. And he flew in the day before, took some LSD, went to a friend's place in LA, partied some, fell asleep, woke up, took some more LSD. So he thought he had a rest day. Actually, he was pitching that day. And he only realized this pretty shortly before the game. So he freaks out, gets up, rushes to the stadium, gets there, is on LSD, is tripping, tells no one about this, goes out and pitches, and he throws a no-hitter.
Oh my gosh.
So it wasn't the best no-hitter. He had 8 walks and he hit a batter, but he threw a no-hitter while on LSD.
Holy shit.
So after the game, there are a couple of great quotes from him about it. After the game, someone asked him if he saw the game's final play, and he responded, "Did I see it? You should have seen it the way I saw it." And then a couple of weeks later, he finally told us about the LSD, and he admitted that he couldn't tell which batter he was facing. All he could tell was if they were left or right-handed.
Oh, God.
So obviously, this worked out pretty well for him somehow. But don't you think that if he could have woken up that morning, realized what was happening, called someone, slipped them 10 grand, 15 grand, and a couple of front row seats, they could have made it rain, gotten the game rained out, gives him time to collect himself?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, baseball is the main sport we're going to be working here, because football gets played in basically any weather. Basketball and hockey are indoors, but, there's baseball games every day.
Also, you can just make a call. You just watch the baseball, and was it 6.5 innings? If they're ahead, if one team's ahead, you call that team's manager and be like,
"Hey, do you want to win this
you
game?
Think you got this? You feeling lucky?"
I didn't think about too in football, you could technically if you have a bad quarterback and your opponent has a really good quarterback, you could just make it super windy and level the odds a little bit. But baseball's gonna be your main bread and butter.
Also, making baseball 6.5 innings only would be actually an improvement to the sport.
It's pretty nice, right? Getting nice
who needs the last 2.5 innings? You've done the baseball.